Nestled in the rolling hills of the English countryside, Willow Creek was a village that seemed to have stepped out of a storybook. With its cobblestone streets, quaint cottages adorned with climbing roses, and a central green where villagers gathered for festivals, it was a place where time moved slowly, and life was simple. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the distant sound of laughter from children playing in the park. At the heart of this idyllic village lived Anna Thompson, a kind-hearted woman in her early 30s. With her warm smile and gentle demeanor, Anna was beloved by her neighbors. She ran a small bakery on the corner of Main Street, known for its delicious scones and fragrant bread. Every morning, the aroma of freshly baked goods wafted through the village, drawing in locals and visitors alike. Anna's most loyal companion was Max, her spirited golden retriever. With his fluffy coat and bright, intelligent eyes, Max was more than just a pet, he was Anna's confidant and protector. They shared an unbreakable bond that had formed over countless walks through the village, lazy afternoons in the sun, and cozy evenings by the fireplace. As the sun rose on this particular summer day, Anna prepared for the annual Willow Creek Summer Fair. It was a much-anticipated event that brought together villagers for games, food stalls, and lively music. Children laughed as they raced around with balloons while adults chatted amiably over cups of tea. Anna had baked an extra batch of her famous blueberry muffins to sell at her stall, excited to share them with friends and neighbors. "Are you ready for another busy day at the bakery, Max?" Anna asked as she tied her apron around her waist. Max wagged his tail enthusiastically in response, his golden fur glistening in the sunlight. After finishing her preparations, Anna knelt down to give Max a gentle scratch behind his ears. "You'll be a good boy while I'm at the fair, won't you? I'll bring you back a treat." Max let out a soft bark as if to say he understood. With one last pat on his head, Anna grabbed her basket filled with muffins and headed out the door. The village square was already bustling with activity as vendors set up their stalls and children raced past her with gleeful shouts. As she made her way to the fairground, Anna couldn't help but smile at the familiar faces around her. There was Mr. Jenkins, who ran the hardware store, Mrs. Collins, who always had a kind word for everyone, and little Lucy, who waved excitedly as she clutched a bright red balloon. The fair was in full swing by the time Anna set up her stall. She arranged her muffins neatly on display and greeted customers with warmth and enthusiasm. The laughter of children echoed around her as they played games and enjoyed rides on colorful ponies. Meanwhile, back at home, Max lay comfortably on his favorite spot by the front door. He watched birds flit about outside and listened to the sounds of the village coming alive. Although he loved accompanying Anna everywhere she went, he also enjoyed these quiet moments alone, until something caught his attention. A shadow moved across the yard, a figure lurking near the edge of their property. Max's ears perked up as he stood alert, sensing something was amiss. His instincts kicked in, he knew he had to protect his home and his beloved owner. As he watched closely, two men approached the house cautiously. They exchanged glances before one of them reached for the door handle. Max's heart raced. He could feel danger looming nearby. With a determined bark that echoed through the quiet street, Max sprang into action. He dashed toward the door, ready to defend his territory at all costs. Little did he know that this would be a day that would change everything for both him and Anna. A day that would test their courage and loyalty like never before. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over Willow Creek. The annual summer fair was in full swing, with laughter and music filling the air. Colorful banners fluttered in the gentle breeze, and the scent of freshly baked goods mingled with the aroma of popcorn and cotton candy. It was a day of joy, celebration, and community spirit. At her stall, Anna beamed with pride as she served her blueberry muffins to a steady stream of customers. "One for you, and one for you," she called out cheerfully, handing over the treats with a smile. The villagers appreciated her baking skills, and today was no exception. Children eagerly clutched their muffins while parents chatted about their plans for the rest of the fair. "Anna," called out Mrs. Collins, her arms laden with prizes from the games. "Your muffins are the best. I'll take another dozen for my family picnic tomorrow." "Of course, Mrs. Collins. I'll have them ready for you by the end of the day," Anna replied, her heart swelling with happiness. As she continued to serve her customers, Anna couldn't help but glance back toward home. She missed Max's playful energy at her side but knew he was content lounging in his favorite spot. "You'll get your treat later, buddy," she whispered to herself with a smile. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Anna and the other villagers, two figures were lurking just beyond the fairgrounds. Tom and Jake, seasoned thieves from a nearby town, had been watching Willow Creek for weeks. They had heard tales of its charm and tranquility but also of its unsuspecting residents. Today was their chance to strike. "Look at that place," Tom said, nodding toward Anna's cottage. "It's got to be filled with goodies. That bakery must be making a fortune." Jake grinned mischievously. "Let's grab what we can and get out before anyone notices." The two men exchanged a knowing glance before slipping away from the fairground and heading toward Anna's home. They moved stealthily, blending into the shadows as they approached the quaint cottage surrounded by blooming flowers. Back at the fair, Anna was busy chatting with Mr. Thompson about his recent fishing trip when she felt a twinge of unease. She glanced toward the direction of her home again but shook it off as mere nerves. After all, it was just a busy day filled with excitement. "Everything all right, Mr. Thompson asked, noticing her distracted demeanor. "Oh yes. Just thinking about Max," Anna replied lightly. "I hope he's behaving himself." Mr. Thompson chuckled. "That dog of yours is more than capable of holding down the fort. He'll be fine." As they continued their conversation, Tom and Jake crept closer to the house. They approached quietly, careful not to attract any attention from passers-by or neighbors who might be watching. "Let's make this quick," Jake whispered as they reached the front door. "In and out." Tom nodded in agreement and reached for the door handle, testing it gently to see if it was locked. To their surprise, it turned easily beneath his touch. Inside, Max sensed an intruder's presence before he even saw them. His instincts kicked in. He stood up straight, ears perked and alert. The familiar sounds of his home were replaced by an unsettling silence that made him uneasy. Suddenly, he heard footsteps approaching from outside, heavy and deliberate. With a low growl rumbling in his throat, Max moved closer to the door, ready to defend his territory against anyone who dared to enter. As Tom pushed open the door and stepped inside, he was met by an unexpected sight: a fierce golden retriever standing guard at the entrance. Max barked loudly, his voice echoing through the small house like thunderclaps on a stormy day. He charged forward with unwavering determination, ready to protect his home and owner from these unwelcome visitors. The thieves froze momentarily in shock at Max's sudden appearance. But before they could react or retreat, Max lunged toward them with all his might, a blur of golden fur and fierce loyalty. Outside in Willow Creek, laughter filled the air as children played games and families enjoyed their day at the fair, unaware that danger lurked just beyond their joyful festivities. But inside that cozy cottage on Elm Street, Max was about to prove that even in moments of calm, bravery could rise like a flame against any threat that dared to invade his peaceful world. The sun continued to shine brightly over Willow Creek, casting a warm glow on the festivities at the summer fair. Laughter and music echoed through the village, but inside Anna's cottage, a different story was unfolding. As Max charged forward, his powerful bark filled the small entryway, reverberating off the walls. The two thieves, Tom and Jake, were momentarily taken aback by the ferocity of the golden retriever. Their initial shock quickly turned to panic as Max lunged at them, teeth bared and growling fiercely. "Get it off me!" Tom shouted, stumbling backward as Max barreled toward him. He barely managed to regain his footing before he collided with the doorframe, trying to evade the dog's powerful advance. "Calm down. It's just a dog," Jake yelled, his bravado faltering as Max continued to bark and snarl. The realization that they had underestimated this seemingly innocent home sent a wave of fear through both men. Max was not just any dog, he was Anna's protector, and he sensed that danger had invaded his territory. With every bark, he urged the intruders to retreat. His instincts kicked in. This was not just about defending his home, it was about protecting Anna. Tom, desperate to escape, grabbed a nearby chair and swung it at Max. The chair clattered against the floor as Max deftly dodged it, his agility surprising even himself. He wasn't just defending, he was fighting for his home. "Let's get out of here," Jake shouted, backing away toward the door. But Max wasn't going to let them escape so easily. He lunged again, barking louder than ever, determined to drive them away. In the chaos of the moment, Tom and Jake exchanged frantic glances. They had come prepared for a simple burglary but hadn't anticipated facing such fierce resistance from a dog. Their plan was unraveling fast. "Forget the stuff. Just run," Tom yelled as he turned to bolt for the door. In their panic, they abandoned their original goal of stealing anything from Anna's home. All they wanted now was to escape this terrifying encounter with their skins intact. As they rushed out of the house, Max followed closely behind, barking furiously as they stumbled down the front steps and into the yard. The sound of their hurried footsteps echoed in contrast to Max's relentless barks. "Quick, to the alley," Jake shouted as they dashed around the side of the house. They thought they could lose Max in the maze of fences and hedges that lined the street, but Max wasn't about to let them get away. He raced after them with all his might, determined to protect what was his. The adrenaline coursed through him as he navigated through the garden and leapt over low fences with ease. Just then, a familiar voice echoed through the street, "Mr." Thompson had noticed something amiss and was making his way toward Anna's cottage. "Hey, what's going on, Mr.?" Thompson called out as he spotted Max chasing after the thieves. He quickly assessed the situation and realized that something was terribly wrong. Max paused momentarily at Mr. Thompson's voice, but only long enough for Tom and Jake to gain some distance. "They're robbing Anna, Mr." Thompson shouted urgently as he sprinted toward his own house nearby to grab his phone and call for help. Meanwhile, Max continued his pursuit of Tom and Jake as they zigzagged through narrow alleyways behind houses. He could hear their heavy breathing and desperate footsteps echoing against cobblestones. "Keep going. We can't let that dog catch us," Tom panted as they turned sharply into another alleyway, but Max was relentless. He had no intention of giving up now that he had started this chase. He darted around corners and leapt over obstacles with determination fueled by loyalty. Back at the fairground, Anna was blissfully unaware of what was happening at her home. She laughed with friends while serving muffins and enjoying the vibrant atmosphere around her. But deep down, she couldn't shake off a nagging feeling, a sense that something wasn't quite right. She glanced back toward her cottage once more but dismissed it as mere worry for her beloved dog. As Tom and Jake raced through Willow Creek, they could hear sirens approaching in the distance, a sound that sent chills down their spines. They knew they had to escape before they were caught. Max sensed their desperation. He pushed himself harder, fueled by a mix of instinct and love for Anna. He would not let these intruders escape unchallenged. The chase continued through Willow Creek, a fierce golden retriever pursuing two frightened thieves. Unbeknownst to Anna and her neighbors, that danger had come so close to their peaceful village life. In that moment of chaos and courage, one thing was clear. Max would stop at nothing to protect his home and his owner from those who threatened their safety, even if it meant facing danger head-on in defense of everything he held dear. The chase through Willow Creek intensified as Max pursued Tom and Jake, his heart pounding with determination. The sound of their hurried footsteps echoed through the narrow alleyways, blending with the distant laughter and music from the summer fair. Max was fueled by an instinctual drive to protect Anna and their home, and he wasn't about to let the thieves escape. Tom and Jake darted around a corner, their faces pale with fear as they glanced back to see Max gaining on them. "We need to find a way out of here," Tom shouted, his breath coming in ragged gasps. "Just keep running. We can lose him in the market," Jake replied, his voice tinged with desperation. They turned sharply onto a busier street, hoping the crowd would provide them with cover. But as they emerged into the bustling fairground, they quickly realized their plan was flawed. The vibrant atmosphere was filled with families enjoying games, food stalls, and laughter, an environment that offered no sanctuary for two men on the run. Max skidded to a halt at the edge of the fairground, momentarily confused by the sudden shift from quiet alleys to the lively crowd. He could see Tom and Jake weaving through the throngs of people, but he couldn't risk losing sight of them. With a determined bark, he charged forward again, weaving through festival-goers who gasped at the sight of the fierce golden retriever in pursuit of two suspicious men. "Look out!" someone shouted as Max barreled past, his eyes locked on his targets. The crowd parted in surprise, allowing Max to navigate through without losing ground. Tom and Jake felt the pressure mounting as they pushed through the crowd. "We can't let that dog catch us. We need to split up," Tom suggested desperately. "Are you crazy? We'll get caught for sure," Jake protested, but he could see that panic had taken hold of Tom's mind. Just then, Mr. Thompson emerged from the crowd, phone in hand. He had called the police and was now looking for a way to help. Spotting Max in pursuit of the thieves, he quickly assessed the situation. "Max, good boy," he shouted encouragingly. Max responded to Mr. Thompson's voice with renewed energy, barking loudly as he continued his chase. The villagers began to notice the commotion. Whispers spread quickly as people turned to see what was happening. "Someone call for help," Mrs. Collins yelled as she joined Mr. Thompson at the edge of the fairground. Tom and Jake realized they were cornered. There was no way out without drawing attention. They glanced at each other in panic before deciding to make one last desperate attempt to escape. "Over there." Jake pointed toward a nearby stall selling cotton candy. "We can hide behind it." They dashed toward the stall just as Max rounded the corner behind them. He could see them slipping away but was determined not to let them out of his sight. With a powerful leap, he surged forward, barking loudly to alert everyone around him. The vendor selling cotton candy looked up in shock as Max barreled past him, nearly knocking over his cart. "What's going on?" he exclaimed, watching as chaos unfolded before him. Max reached the stall just in time to see Tom and Jake crouching behind it, trying to blend into their surroundings. But there was no hiding from Max's keen senses. He could smell their fear and hear their frantic breaths. With a growl that sent shivers down their spines, Max lunged toward them again, ready to confront these intruders once more. Just then, two police officers arrived on bicycles, having received Mr. Thompson's urgent call for help. "Stop right there," one officer shouted as they dismounted their bikes and rushed toward Tom and Jake. Seeing no way out and realizing they were trapped, Tom and Jake scrambled to their feet but were met by Max's fierce presence blocking their path. The officers moved in quickly, ready to apprehend them. "Get back. That dog is crazy," Tom yelled in panic as he stumbled backward. But Max wasn't being aggressive. He was simply doing what any loyal protector would do, standing guard over his home and ensuring that these thieves could not escape justice. The officers quickly assessed the situation and moved in on the two men who were now cornered against the cotton candy stall. "You're under arrest for attempted burglary," one officer said firmly as he cuffed Tom while another kept an eye on Jake. The crowd erupted into applause as they witnessed Max's bravery firsthand. Children cheered for their four-legged hero while adults exchanged relieved smiles at seeing justice served so swiftly. As Anna finally made her way back from the fairground with a basket full of empty muffin trays, her day spent serving happy customers, she noticed a gathering near her cottage. Curiosity piqued. She hurried over only to find her neighbors celebrating Max's courageous act. "What happened?" Anna asked breathlessly as she approached Mr. Thompson. "They tried to rob your house while you were at the fair, Mr. Thompson explained quickly, gesturing toward Max who stood proudly beside him, tail wagging despite all that had just occurred. Anna knelt down beside Max, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. "Oh, Max, you brave boy," she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around him in an embrace that spoke volumes of her appreciation for his loyalty. As cheers erupted around them and police officers led Tom and Jake away in handcuffs, Anna knew that this day would be remembered not just for its festivities but for a hero who had defended her home, a hero with four paws and an unyielding spirit named Max. The sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over Willow Creek as the excitement from the summer fair reached a crescendo. Children danced around, clutching their prizes, while adults gathered in small groups, sharing stories and laughter. But amidst the joyous atmosphere, a sense of unity had blossomed in the village, fueled by the events of the day. As Anna knelt beside Max, her heart swelled with pride. She could hardly believe that her loyal golden retriever had not only defended their home but had also brought the community together in a way she had never seen before. The cheers and applause from the crowd around them made her realize just how much Max meant to everyone. "Max, you're a hero," shouted little Lucy, who had been watching from her mother's side. She rushed over, her eyes wide with admiration. "Can I pet him?" "Of course," Anna replied, smiling as she watched Lucy kneel down to give Max a gentle scratch behind the ears. Max leaned into the affection, his tail wagging furiously as if he understood the praise being heaped upon him. As more villagers gathered around, Mr. Thompson took it upon himself to recount the thrilling tale of Max's bravery. You should have seen it. That dog charged right at those thieves like a lion. He didn't hesitate for a second, he said animatedly, gesturing with his hands as he spoke. The crowd listened intently, their faces lighting up with excitement at the recounting of Max's heroic stand. And just when they thought they could escape, he chased them right into the fairground. Mr. Thompson continued. Thanks to him, they didn't get away with anything. Anna felt a warmth spread through her chest as she listened to her neighbors express their gratitude and admiration for Max. It was clear that his bravery had resonated deeply within the community. Thank you for being such a wonderful protector, Max. Mrs. Collins said as she stepped forward with a plate of freshly baked cookies she had brought from home. You deserve a treat. Max sniffed at the plate eagerly, his eyes sparkling with delight as Mrs. Collins offered him a cookie. With a gentle hand, she placed it on the ground before him, and he happily gobbled it up. As more villagers approached to congratulate Anna and Max, she felt overwhelmed by their kindness. I can't thank you all enough, she said, her voice filled with emotion. Max means everything to me, and I'm so grateful for your support. Just then, one of the police officers who had apprehended Tom and Jake approached Anna with a smile. We wanted to commend you on having such a brave dog, he said earnestly. Max's actions today not only protected your home but also helped us catch those thieves before they could cause any more trouble in Willow Creek. Anna nodded appreciatively. I always knew he was special, she replied, looking down at Max who was now basking in all the attention. Perhaps we should make this an annual event, Mr. Thompson suggested playfully, a celebration of our four-legged heroes. We could have games and prizes for dogs and their owners. The idea sparked enthusiasm among the crowd. Yes, a Hero Dog Day. Someone else chimed in. As conversations flowed about how to organize such an event, Anna felt an overwhelming sense of community spirit enveloping her and Max. It was heartwarming to see how everyone was coming together not just to celebrate Max's bravery but also to strengthen their bonds as neighbors. Let's plan it for next month. Mrs. Collins proposed excitedly. We can have contests for best tricks and even a parade. Max seemed to sense the excitement in the air. He barked happily as if he were joining in on the conversation. As dusk began to settle over Willow Creek, Anna looked around at her neighbors, their faces illuminated by fairy lights strung across stalls and trees, and felt grateful for this close-knit community that had rallied together in support of one another. Later that evening, after bidding farewell to her friends and ensuring that Max received plenty of love and treats from everyone who passed by, Anna headed home with her beloved dog by her side. Today was quite an adventure, wasn't it? She said softly as they walked together down Elm Street toward their cottage. Max wagged his tail in agreement, his golden fur glowing in the fading light. When they arrived home, Anna knelt down beside him once more and wrapped her arms around his neck in a warm embrace. Thank you for being my hero today, she whispered into his fur. Max licked her cheek affectionately in response, his eyes sparkling with loyalty and love. As night fell over Willow Creek and stars began to twinkle above them like tiny beacons of hope, Anna felt reassured that no matter what challenges lay ahead, whether it be thieves or other unforeseen troubles, she would always have Max by her side. Together they would face whatever came their way. After all, they were not just owner and pet. They were partners bound by love and loyalty in this beautiful village they called home. And now, thanks to Max's bravery, their community was stronger than ever before, a testament to what could be achieved when hearts united against adversity. The following morning, Willow Creek awoke to a fresh, crisp dawn, the sun casting a golden glow over the village. The events of the previous day still lingered in the air, a palpable sense of camaraderie and gratitude weaving through the community. Anna opened her bakery early, eager to prepare for what she hoped would be a day of celebration. As she kneaded dough and mixed batter, her mind drifted back to Max's brave stand against the thieves. She couldn't shake the pride she felt for her loyal companion. Max had not only protected their home but had also united the village in a way that she had never witnessed before. By mid-morning, the bakery was bustling with customers eager to grab their favorite treats. News of Max's heroics had spread like wildfire, and villagers were stopping by not just for muffins and scones but also to share their appreciation for the brave golden retriever. Good morning, Anna. Is Max around? Mrs. Collins asked as she entered the bakery, her arms filled with fresh flowers from her garden. He's outside enjoying the sunshine, Anna replied, smiling warmly. I think he's basking in all the attention he received yesterday. Mrs. Collins chuckled as she placed her flowers on the counter. Well, he certainly deserves it. I've never seen such bravery in a dog before. As customers continued to flow in and out of the bakery, Anna decided it was time to give Max a special treat. She whipped up a batch of dog-friendly biscuits, infused with peanut butter and oats, his absolute favorite. Once they were baked to perfection and cooled on the counter, Anna called out to Max. Come here, buddy, I have something special for you. Max trotted into the bakery with his tail wagging furiously at the sound of Anna's voice. His eyes lit up when he saw the freshly baked treats waiting for him. He sat patiently as she placed a biscuit in front of him. Here you go, a reward for being such a good boy, Anna said lovingly as Max gobbled up the biscuit in one swift motion. Just then, Mr. Thompson entered the bakery with a smile on his face. Morning, Anna, I heard you're planning something special for Max today. Anna nodded enthusiastically. I thought we could organize a little gathering at the park this afternoon, just an informal celebration to honor him and bring everyone together. Mr. Thompson's eyes sparkled with excitement. That sounds wonderful. I'll help spread the word. I'm sure everyone will want to come out and show their appreciation. As word spread throughout Willow Creek about the impromptu gathering for Max, villagers began to prepare in their own ways. Some brought homemade treats for both dogs and humans, others set up games and activities for children and their furry companions. By early afternoon, Willow Creek Park was transformed into a vibrant celebration site filled with laughter and joy. Colorful banners adorned trees while tables overflowed with food, sandwiches, pastries, fruits, and bowls of water for all the dogs who would be joining in on the festivities. Anna arrived at the park with Max by her side, his tail wagging excitedly as they took in the scene before them. The sight of so many familiar faces warmed her heart. It was clear that everyone had come together to honor her brave companion, Max. Shouted Lucy as she ran toward them, clutching a bright blue ribbon in her hand. Look what I made for you. She held up a handmade sign that read, Max is our hero. Max barked happily as Lucy knelt down to give him a hug. He licked her cheek affectionately while other children gathered around him, eager to pet and play with their furry friend. As more villagers arrived, each bringing their own stories of how Max's bravery had inspired them, Anna felt overwhelmed by gratitude. It wasn't just about celebrating Max, it was about recognizing how their community had come together in support of one another. Mr. Thompson stepped forward to address everyone gathered under the shade of an old oak tree. Thank you all for coming today. We're here not just to celebrate Max but also to celebrate our wonderful community that stands together in times of need. Cheers erupted from the crowd as Mr. Thompson continued, let's remember that we are stronger together, whether it's through acts of bravery or simply being there for one another. With that sentiment resonating deeply within everyone present, games began. Races between dogs and their owners, best trick contests, and even a small obstacle course set up just for fun. Max participated wholeheartedly. He chased after frisbees and played tug-of-war with children who squealed in delight at his antics. His joyful spirit seemed infectious. Laughter echoed through the park as families bonded over shared moments of happiness. As dusk approached and golden light bathed Willow Creek in warmth once more, Anna stood back and watched her beloved dog thrive amidst all this love and appreciation. She felt an overwhelming sense of pride wash over her, not just for Max but also for their community that had rallied together so beautifully at that moment. She realized that while Max may have been hailed as a hero for his bravery against thieves, it was this very spirit of unity that truly defined Willow Creek, a place where neighbors became friends and friends became family. As families began to gather their things and head home after an unforgettable day filled with laughter and joy, Anna knelt beside Max once more. You've made such an impact on our lives, she whispered softly into his fur as he leaned against her affectionately. Max looked up at her with eyes full of love, a silent promise that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as partners bound by loyalty and courage. And so it was that Willow Creek celebrated not just a hero but also the power of community, the strength found in standing together against adversity, and the unbreakable bond between a woman and her dog who showed them all what true bravery looked like.